What it boils down to me, when it pertains to Zach, he the game needs to slow down for him. He made the decisions he made against the Lions were not bad decisions. The poor decision, he had two really bad decisions. The first interception, it was a bad decision. He did not read the field well. That's what it looked like to me. He didn't read the field well. He lobbed it up there, thinking it was going to be a nice, sweet pass over the top, and it got picked off. But it wasn't egregious. And then the next play, which was egregious, which had disaster written all over it, was that chuck. He just chucked it up in the air, and Michael Carter saved him. He saved him. That was a really ugly play. That was almost a disaster. He got away with that one. His issues are his feet are not following his eyes on a lot of those throws. And the second issue to me with him is he leaves the pocket early. So you can argue, I say he had two really bad plays. There's a third, which was the throw to Barrios on the right flat, which he struggles to throw for the entirety of his career so far. He just, every time he throws to that area of the field, it's a struggle. He bounces it. It's definitely due to his mechanics, but every time he goes that way, 85% of the time he's bouncing it. That's how it feels. The big throw to Garrett, where Garrett, it was a pass interference, but Garrett still managed to come down with it. That big throw, that to me wasn't a designed rollout, and the pocket was there. Yes, it was a big play. It was a deep pass. He rolled out and caused pressure on himself for no reason. Like he dropped back, it wasn't a play action, it wasn't a rollout. He took a few steps and then just bolted. It worked out in the end, but that, to me, that play was saved. Like that, Garrett saved that play. The penalty in Garrett, because he left the pocket early and the linebacker went into pursuit and he got the ball off. It went the Jets' way, so it's not too bad, but that wasn't a great play on his end. That was a great play by Garrett. The way he adjusted on that ball, fighting through the contact and still catching it. Garrett is special. Zach didn't lose the game. He definitely did not lose the game. But he had opportunities to win the game. All in that second half. The third quarter was brutal. There was, from the beginning of the third quarter, for like 3 to 4 drives, they had zero production. Zero. It was looking bad. And the feeling I got while watching it, I didn't think that they couldn't get over the hump. Like against New England in the second half, it just felt like they couldn't get over the hump. Zach could not get over the hump. This time they had 3 to 4 drives of no production, but it just didn't feel like it felt like, man, when are they gonna finally make the play? Cause it's there. And Zach was bad. He was bad coming out of the half. He wasn't horrible, but he wasn't, the offense wasn't clicking, and he wasn't making the throws. He was off target on several of them. He just was not making good throws. Then the fourth quarter begins, and you could tell that the defense was slowing up a little bit. They didn't have the same energy all the way from the beginning to the third quarter. Yeah, there's little moments here and there, ebbs and flows, like Salah likes to say. But in the fourth quarter, it was just like missing a step. They were behind the step, a tad bit slower, and it got worse and worse every time. They got bailed out earlier in the fourth quarter when he missed the field goal. And that's when Zach got the ball back, and they marched down the field. And they scored on the nice little rollout It was that rollout to that play action rollout on the goal line for CJ. That was a nice play design on the goal line where they struggled against the Vikings. They broke the huddle, ran straight to the line, hiked the ball, play action. CJ coming from the left, runs to the right, wide open, looks like a run, wide open, easy touchdown for CJ. Beautiful play design. So Zach got in a better groove. The offense got in a better groove. They seized momentum. And what happens? The defense picks the worst time to break. The worst time to break. That play, that 50-yard touchdown. Honestly, like so much that it was so crazy. The ending of this, it was a roller coaster in the last drive. The last drive in the whole last quarter, it was just like, it was crazy. CJ just completely gets tricked and fooled. He gets fooled on that 50-yard touchdown. The tight end, I don't even know his name. Rewatching that play, the tight end disguised his route early. It was so sneaky how he disguised that route. It looked like he was running into his own lineman. And CJ was looking at the quarterback, and Goff is going to the right a little, and he completely forgets about the tight end, and the tight end drags to the other end, runs down the field. CJ is slow to get to him. Michael Carter takes a horrible angle, looking tired. I can't think that the tight end is that fast. Maybe he misjudged the tight end speed because the tight end is like a nobody. Maybe he misjudged the speed of the tight end, but that was a bad angle and he was slow. And he breaks it for a 50-yard touchdown. And the defense decides to finally break at the worst times. It's been several weeks in a row now. It's a pattern, and they need to figure it out. This on Thursday, if their offense manages to score any kind of points, it should be on every single player's head, in their mind. We are not giving up a score right now. We can't just constantly put our offense at a deficit when they finally do something productive and finally tie the game or take the lead, because our offense can't handle that much pressure of being behind. They need to have some comfort, and it's tough on the defense. I didn't think they played that poorly. Detroit has been playing really well on offense. Jared Goff has been playing really well, and they only scored 17 points. The defense did a good job. They just have very poor timing on making mistakes and giving up big plays. If that would have happened earlier in the game, but regardless, the offense had enough time to go out there and score. But the fact is that they just scored. It's difficult for Zach and for the offense to get in sync and stay in sync. It's like, I don't think that they'll be bad all game long if they're not playing against the Patriots. If they're playing any other team but the Patriots, I think that they'll have pockets of success with Zach. But it's not something that you can put it in the bag and say, yeah, they're going to score on this drive. I spoke with my dad prior to the game, and I said, I knew it. I thought they were going to lose 23-20. Zach was going to have a chance to go down the field to potentially tie or win the game. And it worked out that way. The score was slightly different, but it worked out exactly that way. And on that last drive, he was wildly inconsistent. But you got the best of Zach, and you got the worst of the worst. So not the worst of the worst, because we've seen him throw some horrible interceptions, and he didn't do that on the last drive. But you saw the wildly inaccurate, lacking fundamentals quarterback on that last drive. I'll go through it. Well, on the throws, his best throw in the game was on 3rd and 19 to Garrett. That was his best throw. It was beautiful throw. It came after a poor throw. I believe was it. Yeah, it was a poor throw. The throw before that was to Barrios up the middle, splitting defender. That throw would have had to split defenders. Maybe if it was placed perfectly, he would have caught it and kept running. But there were two guys trailing behind him, angling in at the point of the catch. It looked like, and he would have had to, and Barrios is not a big guy to just catch it and go with, take it in stride. He probably would have had to jump and catch it with his body, which he mostly does, and he would have got tackled. So I don't think that was a touchdown, but that was a big play, a big opportunity where you could have got chunk yards with a lot more time left on the clock, and Zach just missed it. It wasn't terrible, but he missed it. The next play, he forgets about it. It looks like him missing that throw. While I was watching it live, he missed that throw, and the very next play, he seemed a little composed, and he threw his best throw to Garrett to convert on 3rd and 19. Fantastic. That's a huge play. Then he comes back and sails a ball completely over Elijah Moore's head, completely misses him. Elijah Moore would have caught that easily in stride, ran it, and got well into field goal position with plenty of time left on the clock, with 2 timeouts left. If he would have ran out of bounds, he had the room to run out of bounds also. That could have been a chunk play, and he missed them. Threw it completely over his head. It looks like his mechanics, his feet were not properly placed. I didn't watch the all 22, so I didn't see the other angle. It looked like his feet were not in the right spot. He sailed it over his head. Then, right after that, on 4th down, he makes a ridiculous play, a spectacular play on 4th down to give your team a chance to kick a field goal. I don't know how the hell he evaded the pressure on that play. His subtle little schoolyard juke moves, I don't know how he just always tricks these defenders. The guy was coming off the edge. He was I believe, who was blocking him? I think it was Conklin that was stayed in. Conklin stayed in to block. The defensive end is coming off the edge. Looks like he has an easy path. George Fant comes off another defender, comes off and crashes into the defensive end. Zach continues to roll out, but the linebackers there, they were just in pursuit, and he just does like a little back step and curves around him, stops on a dime a few yards away from the sideline, and just throws the ball in the opening of the field, right in the middle. Elijah comes back to the ball. Elijah could have possibly went down right away instead of running and taking away more time off the clock. It would have still had to have been a field goal because it wasn't enough for another play. But that was a spectacular play by Zach. That was incredible. It was crazy. But you can't rely on those plays. Everyone now, I'm watching, today's Tuesday. Everyone after the game is like, what I've seen, they're all like, is it a way to get him on the move more often? And yes, he makes plays on the move, and that was a spectacular play to end the game and give us a chance to tie it. Great play. But are we forgetting the bonehead throws that he's had when he's on the move? So it ain't all about him getting on the move. You cannot be those are not consistent. You cannot rely on these spectacular throws that he's making because he's had catastrophes. He's had disastrous throws when he's on the move also this year. After all that being said, and watching the Jags against Dallas again, well, really for the first time, I think the Jets are going to win this game, even with Zach. Uh, what I saw is I think the Jets are a better team. They're just a better team than the Jaguars. The Jaguars are they're a good team. They're not. I don't think that they're far off from the Jets, but I think the Jets are a better team. That game was a crazy game. Dallas gave up some big plays, um, some big throws down the field, and Dak with some interceptions. The Jaguars made plenty of mistakes. Everyone seems to be loving Trevor Lawrence, and he is good. He's showing a lot of improvement. But he made some bonehead plays and had some bonehead turnovers. They should have lost the game. Dallas gave it to them, and the Dallas gave up so many explosive plays. The Jets, I think, coming into this game, the defense is going to be laser focused for how they've played these past few weeks. It is a drop off in talent as a team playing Minnesota, Buffalo, and a super hot Detroit. The defense played all three of those teams really well. Not perfect. They weren't flawless. They weren't unstoppable. They weren't. But they played really well, and they're going to play really well against the Jags. What is going to rely on, in my opinion, is the running game finally regaining rhythm on the offensive side for the Jets. They need to regain rhythm running the ball. Because if they don't do that, the game will be closer than what everyone wants to see. If they can't run the ball, it's going to look a lot closer than it should be because of Zach. And even if they can't run the ball, that doesn't mean Zach can't win this game, but it's like a coin flip. They have to run the ball. They have to. And if they are successful running the ball, Zach will look a lot better. I believe that. Not to say he won't make a mistake. It's on the game plan. It's on LaFleur. It's on the O-line. It's on the running backs. They have to find rhythm running the ball. The play action will be there. Zach will make better decisions. Not to say he'll be perfect, but if you're consistent running the ball, Zach will look a lot better. He'll make some plays. We'll slow it down. The defense will have time to breathe. Unlike against Detroit, unlike against Buffalo, any other. At the end of the game, that fourth quarter, the defense was so tired, and they were just slowly breaking. They miss a field goal, they dodge a bullet. Then on the last drive, they get tricked at the line of scrimmage, but the pursuit to stop him from scoring on a 50-yard touchdown was so dead. They were dead. That Michael Carter looked horrible in that pursuit. Bad angle, and he didn't even have enough to muster up a recovery to make the tackle on a tight end. With that being said, I do think the Jets will win the game. Rayshawn Jenkins had a breakout game, in my opinion. He 18 tackles, 2 interceptions, one for the game-winning touchdown in overtime. That's insane. That's an insane game. That's like if CJ didn't get injured against Buffalo a few years ago in the first game, CJ was like having a monster game like that. He was on the verge before getting injured. Rayshawn had a fantastic game coming from, what was it, the Chargers? I don't know. I've never heard him break out like that. He's a safety, 18 tackles and 2 interceptions, and then winning the game the way and the concentration on that interception. Like, it gets deflected, which he should have caught the ball. But the concentration, the way he caught it right before hitting the ground and then running it back. Fantastic play. What did he say? He said that was his he said, I don't think I've ever had a pick six before today, so that's pretty good. I know that's crazy. So I think that was pretty cool to do. That's like a play you dream about ever since you were 8 years old, ever since I started playing this game. See? That's crazy. This safety hasn't had a pick six his whole life, and his first one is against the Cowboys in overtime. It is really cool. It is really cool. But the Jets should win this game, even with Zach. They run the ball, they'll win him very convincingly. Do I think they're gonna run the ball? Yes, I think they're gonna finally regain some rhythm running the ball. Dallas did a decent job running the ball. It was, they didn't go for 200 yards or something like that, but they stuck to it. Zeke had a touchdown Dak kept the ball and ran it himself a few times, which I don't think Zach will do for us, but they ran the ball, and I believe the Jets will be able to run the ball. My prediction, I think, is going to be 24-17 Jets. 24-17. I think they're going to win this game convincingly. They're going to run the ball down their throats. Zach is going to play a mistake-free game. I don't think he'll throw an interception this game. I don't. The game plan is going to be very conservative. They're going to find success running the ball. He played really well against Jacksonville last year. Yeah, you could say it's a different team, but some guys play better against than others. And I think Zach is going to have a decent game. It's a must win. They came off 3 heartbreaking losses where things did not go their way all the time. It was at the worst timing that those pivotal moments came, and they couldn't overcome them. I don't see it happening this Thursday. They're going to come out. They're going to play hard. Trevor Lawrence, he's still young, and he's trending in the right direction, but he's still making some mistakes. The style of play that the Jets defense plays, they bring pressure with just 4 guys. If Quinnen is back in the game, if Quinnen is playing and he's not hurt, they expect the pressure to be even more consistent. They'll drop back in coverage, and Trevor Lawrence is going to be put in difficult situations to throw the ball down the field in tight windows while guys is on his back. The guy is tough. If you grab him, you got to make sure you bring him down, because he shows some toughness to break through some of those could be sacks. He did it a couple times, so you got to know to bring him down. He's very athletic, but you bring pressure with 4. Your corners, they're not those big plays that Dallas was giving up. Maybe that could happen once, yeah, but come on, this secondary is not going to give up those big plays like that over and over and over again. That's my prediction. Zach is going to have a decent game. The running game is going to come to life a little bit. The defense is going to be more consistent. When the offense scores, I believe the defense is not going to just give it right back. the following drive, and things are going to stabilize a little bit in this game. They need a lot of they need a lot of help. I do believe New England is not going to be able to win out the rest of the season. I don't believe that. That'll be a story if they win out. That'll be incredible if they win out. I think they're going to win. After that, it's time to reconvene, watch the film, and make a decision next week. Leave Seattle for next week. That's my prediction. That's how I feel. Like it, love it, hate it, despise it, disagree. It is what it is, man. I don't care. All right, let's go Jets.
Perfect.